Hi. In section 8 of Counsels and Maxims, Schopenhauer discusses the value of reflection and self-examination. He writes, "To live a life that shall be entirely prudent and discreet, and to draw from experience all the instruction it contains, it is requisite to be constantly thinking back, to make a kind of recapitulation of what we have done, of our impressions and sensations, and to compare our former with our present judgments, what we set before us and struggled to achieve, with the actual result and satisfaction we have obtained. To do this is to get a repetition of the private lessons of experience, lessons which are given to everyone." So, first paragraph, a recommendation of recapitulation, thinking back over, examining on a regular basis the experiences we've had and the lessons that we learned from them. So, where he spoke in a previous section about our life gliding along like a stream, he's talking here about the element of examining our memories and our past experiences in order to be deliberate about the way in which we live. Schopenhauer continues, "Experience of the world may be looked upon as a kind of text, to which reflection and knowledge form the commentary. Where there is a great deal of reflection and intellectual knowledge, and very little experience, the result is like those books which have on each page 2 lines of text to 40 lines of commentary." Okay, this would be the situation of people who do very little but reflect a lot upon what they do. And the suggestion may be here that this is not an advantageous situation. "A great deal of experience with little reflection and scanty knowledge give us books like those of the Editio Bipontina, where there are no notes and much that is unintelligible." Okay, the suggestion here, the opposite problem. Much experience, no commentary, no reflection, no lessons learned. This also seems to be unsatisfactory. Next paragraph. "The advice here given is on a par with a rule recommended by Pythagoras, to review every night before going to sleep what we have done during the day. To live at random in the hurly-burly of business or pleasure without ever reflecting upon the past, to go on, as it were, pulling cotton off the reel of life, is to have no clear idea of what we are about. And a man who lives in this state will have chaos in his emotions and certain confusion in his thoughts, as is soon manifest by the abrupt and fragmentary character of his conversation, which becomes a kind of mincemeat. A man will be all the more exposed to this fate in proportion as he lives a restless life in the world, amid a crowd of various impressions, and with a correspondingly small amount of activity on the part of his own mind." So the problem here being that, the recommendation, going back to Pythagoras, one of the first philosophers, is to conduct a self-examination, an examination of conscience, a reflection upon one's activities and choices and events and emotions of the day. Why? In order to acquire a sort of minimal amount of self-possession. There are some people, Schopenhauer suggests here, who may go through life in the sort of busyness and hurly-burly of life, never pausing to do this, and so never possess anything more than a kind of fragmentary and temporary possession of themselves. Let's go on. "And in this connection, it will be in place to observe that when events and circumstances which have influenced us pass away in the course of time, we are unable to bring back and renew the particular mood or state of feeling which they aroused in us. But we can remember what we were led to say and do in regard to them. And this forms, as it were, the result, expression, and measure of those events. We should therefore be careful to preserve the memory of our thoughts at important points in our life. And herein lies the great advantage of keeping a journal." And that's the end of this section. What is Schopenhauer telling us here? We ought to remember that we will never be able to relive the moment, to relive, he says, the mood, the state of feeling, the sort of subjective experience of a thing, but we can, recollect and make a record of for ourselves our actions and our thoughts, we sort of put it to words, what we did, what we went through. And this is the great value of a journal, is it gives us access in later times to those effects, those sort of offshoots of the subjective experience that we lived through. We can't live it again, but we can reflect upon it with the help of a journal. So that's the end of section 8 of Schopenhauer's Counsels and Maxims. We'll take a look at the later sections in another video. Thanks for watching today. Goodbye.